Well, new at 6, a bill that would require students to pass a civics test to graduate high school is headed to the Iowa House.
It passed the Iowa Senate in a 38-7 vote that happened earlier today.
KCCI's Ophelia Jacobson is live at the State House this evening. And Ophelia, you have a look at some of the questions on this test.
Yeah, Laura and Ben, the questions come from the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services Naturalization Civics Test. SF 369 would require students to get at least a 60% to pass and receive their diploma, but they would be able to retake that multiple choice test over and over again as much as needed. We wanted to put everyday Iowans to the test and see if they could answer some of the same questions.
I don't think it's right to require more of immigrants than we require of our own students.
Republican Senator Jesse Green says the bill is needed and argues it's common sense.
The questions are pretty fair. They're pretty easy. I think most people would pass in their first try.
We wanted to see if people think the same. So we went to Grays Lake, randomly selected a few questions from the 100-question civics test, and put people to the test. What is the supreme law of the land?
I couldn't even tell you.
I have no idea.
Declaration of Independence?
The correct answer is the Constitution.
Who is the commander-in-chief of the military? Donald Trump.
Trump?
Is that Donald Trump?
The president is right.
How many justices are on the Supreme Court?
3.
Is this like 17 or 13?
5?
There are 9 Supreme Court justices.
What did the Declaration of Independence do?
I guess it was supposed to make people feel like they were free.
I'm not for this.
I believe it freed slaves, right?
It declared our independence from Great Britain.
Oh my God.
What is the name of our national anthem?
Our national anthem. The national anthem?
Star-Banner Bangle? Star-Banner Bangle?
Star-Spangled Banner.
The correct answer is the Star-Spangled Banner. And when asked if students should be expected to know the answers on the test too, people stand divided.
It doesn't hurt to know.
I don't see why they should do that.
I personally do.
No, I don't think they should.
Now, it's important to note that the format that the test would be given to students would be multiple choice. We did have one lady who answered all of the questions correctly, except she did not want to be on camera. We also had a number of people who declined to do the test altogether. We're live at the State House. Ophelia Jacobson, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
All right, sounds like we could do a little bit of studying there, Ophelia. Thank you.